What's going on, everybody? He's back. We're so happy to have Sheets back and get into this slate. And by the way, without Sheets, I was at least hoping I'd take down a few tournaments. I got nothing out of it. So Sheets is on his return tonight. It's Sheets' night. He's gonna take it down for us. And before we go over to Sheets, just want to remind everybody, check out the site. We've made a bunch of changes. We partnered with DFS and a lot of incredible tools over there. People are really, really loving them. I would encourage people to check it out. And with that said, Sheets, welcome back. Great to see you. And let you have the floor.
I'll tell you that the DFS gods have a very, very strange sense of humor. Like last year, I had a death in the family just around the same time, and I won like $50,000 the day that person passed away last year. And this year, I totally forgot. I put in golf lineups Wednesday before things kind of went to hell at the hospital. And I totally forgot. And then I looked like the Sunday after she passed away, and I won the monster for $50,000.
It's crazy.
So I wish I could enjoy it more.
But
oh my God.
If you got to go, that's okay. I can.
What is it? Oh man. Okay. But yeah, I'm fine. But I am ready to get back into this, and I just did projections right now. I don't know how timely they are. What's going on today?
So there's a lot of still stuff that's coming in, but most of it has been that people are available. We've got Yabusele was just ruled out. Kelly Oubre is in. Those were big ones we were waiting on. Nurkic is available. Brandon Clark and Zach Edey are available.
Oh, that's good.
The latest news, yeah. And Fred VanVleet.
There's another one that I had that I was getting a bunch of somebody who was questionable. But they're all in pretty much.
It seems like right now, yeah. The pretty much everybody's in. The thing that's everybody recently has been in. There was some outs earlier today. Alec Burks, which is not all that relevant. Pretty much everybody they've announced in the afternoon has been in, except for Porzingis at 552. At 552. Porzingis is out. But Boston is basically full strength. Other than that, and mostly Boston's been playing like at least a couple guys down most of the second half of the year. So didn't have a huge impact on the projections.
Well, so right now, I just want to see. So what about Brandon Williams?
We don't know about any of the Dallas guys. And in fact, I bumped up everybody in that game just because if we get they've had these guys questionable and then everybody's been out lately. So that's really the big, Exum, Washington, and Williams. If all those guys are out, you kind of have to just play the other Dallas guys no matter what. But you already have to play all the Toronto guys because there's only 9 guys for Toronto, and that's one of the first games.
The other guy that I was PJ Washington you had mentioned, he's questionable. Yeah. And then the 2 San Antonio guys, Sohan and Vassell.
Yep.
Are still questionable.
Sohan and Vassell, and that's another. So I also bumped up. I forgot to mention that one. I bumped up San Antonio a little bit as well, just because if those guys are out, obviously, I want some swappability, and those later games between Dallas and San Antonio, we're going to find something that fits in there nicely.
So VanVleet is in. That was questionable earlier. So I think he's starting. So I got that. So that's good. So who are you getting? What are you getting the most?
Yeah, so I'm actually just changing something right now. I want to it's going to be impossible to avoid Toronto, in a major way. They have 9 players and they're all cheap except for Podol, and even he's not too expensive to play. So I don't think there's anybody from Toronto that won't be in at least some of my lineups tonight. But AJ Lawson, Jamal Sheed, Jared Roden, Jamison Battle, these just these household names.
Right. The Who Is group.
Right, the Who Is group. And then we've got Philly on the other side already with Yabusele out. Drummond is a game time player. If those guys are out, then you're going to get Adam Bona looking really good at 3,500. And already Lonnie Walker looks pretty good. Justin Edwards looks pretty good. And other slates would be playing a bunch of Philadelphia, but it's just with Toronto, it's just so overshadowed. But there's arguments for making a nice little, I guess you would call it the old Big T game stack. You just stack the first game and and see what happens, because I do think that, especially if Drummond is out, you have so much value on the Toronto side, and you've got already decent value on the Philly side. I think maybe you bump that up a little bit and make a nice little game stack. I put a little note in to make sure I have 20% of that game stacked in some way or another. So
Yeah, I am getting. It's so funny. So I am getting these Toronto guys, at least in my first run. Like my first run here, and this might be my last run. I'm not sure, but we're gonna go out for dinner in a little bit. But I'm getting the Sheed is my highest owned of all these guys, and then Lawson. Like right now, I'm getting like 50% Sheed and 30% Lawson, and then like 15% of like these other guys like Battle, Roden, and Pirtle.
Yeah.
And then a small amount of Boucher, a small amount of Orlando Robinson, and like a small amount of Colin Castleton.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with Philly though, what am I getting with Philly? Yeah, just right now, just Delanie Walker. But like you said, you know, if Drummond is out, then there are issues, right? I mean,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, look, as I always point out, 5% of games going to overtime. Not to say that you need the overtime necessarily, but you could certainly make a case, as far as I'm concerned, for playing, maybe bumping up the projection on Kelly Oubre and playing him on the other side of this Toronto stack. Quentin Grimes has been completely going nuts.
Amazing, right?
No one wants to play him. The other night he was like 5% owned, and they had no players available. They didn't have Oubre either. And he put up like 58 or something like that. PJ Washington, best polls is saying PJ Washington's out and Brandon Williams is in. So that's there we go. Yeah, that news just came through. So PJ, I'm glad we're getting that early at least. That's going to make all the other. I mean, so Brandon Williams is going to look like one of the best plays in the slate, and Najee Marshall is going to look like one of the best plays on the slate as well. I'm just going to take away because I was bumping up. If PJ Washington was playing, I was playing him, so I had to take him out here manually. I'd changed.
Yeah, I'm taking him out right now just so he's out at least.
Yeah.
And then I have to see about maybe updating projections before I get out of here. We'll see. But they're probably not even going to starters for a while, I guess, right?
Well, now we've got a weird one too. Nick Richards just got ruled out for Phoenix.
For Phoenix, okay.
He was already like I had him as. I guess he was doubtful a little bit earlier. I just think you're going to see a pretty high projection on Mason Plumlee. He's now looking at like almost 8x.
Wow,
that ruling out. But again, you got what 8 guys at 7.7x or better according to SaberSim, and then it's just a lot, and it's almost all Toronto and then Plumlee. Meanwhile, getting lost in some of this might be this Memphis-Utah game that's got a 247 total, which I bet the under on, by the way. But
before we get to that, what about the I'm getting a bunch of those the 2 Charlotte studs, the Bridges and LaMelo right now.
Yeah, I'm locked in on Bridges as my main one. I actually bumped LaMelo's projection down just because I feel like he gets over projected, and it's a great spot. Don't get me wrong, but I don't feel like it's a guarantee that he has to play 34 minutes. And honestly, it's been Bridges doing most of the damage lately. LaMelo's fine. Don't get me wrong, but I actually like Trey on the other side to run opposed. I like Trey a little bit better than I like LaMelo tonight. It's pretty close.
So Phoenix, let me just see. So Phoenix, you're saying who got ruled out? So Nick Richards got ruled out?
Yeah.
I don't even know he was. I have him project. I had him a 0 anyway.
Yeah. Okay, so you did. So did you have Plumlee with a big projection?
Yeah, I did already. Yeah, I already have 27. I already have 27.
I missed a doubtful on him earlier, I guess.
Okay.
Dante Exum remains questionable for Dallas, which, believe it or not, is actually a big thing just because of how many minutes they have on the court. Max Christie, Spencer Dinwiddie especially. I think Dinwiddie seems to be consistently under projected in these spots, and I will bump him up myself to make sure I get some of that.
Yeah, so I have to definitely stick around to at least do something with the Dallas projections. Don't know exactly what that's going to be, but let's see what I'm getting in some of these other guys. Just as far as raw projection, Sheed. Yo, I'm getting on the other side of that Charlotte game. I'm getting actually a Kongwu, not as much Trey.
Yeah, I didn't. Trey's not projected as well. And Kongwu's been really good. It's a great matchup for him, so I'm good with the Kongwu. But I do like to get to a little bit of Trey today. Yeah, again, we have to spend money somewhere, right? Like there is.
Well, you mentioned that that Utah game is getting overlooked here. I'm getting a ton of the Colin Sexton, actually.
That's what's the Utah side of it scares me a little bit.
And John Collins, by the way.
I love the John Collins. But I just feel like I've seen this story so many times and I talk about it all the time. Like we just don't, they just narrow their minutes and for what it's worth, they're fighting for losing. They're trying to, they don't need to win any games here. But for what it's worth, they're playing more guys than they had been playing. And I actually think that the pivot off of Sexton would be a guy like Collier. But they do have Collier and Clarkson available. So they have their guard rotation more intact than it has been in a while. And I'm not opposed to the Sexton thing. I just think it may be a little bit of an, I don't want to even say it's an over projection. It's just, I don't know that I need to do that on a slate where there's so much great value at both guard spots that I can find some other ways to go. I mean, you just look at Sexton's minutes. Like he played 32 in the last game. He played great against Boston. He put up 38. Before that, 24 minutes, 20 minutes, 16 minutes, 2 minutes because he got hurt. But then even before that, you go back 31, 29, 34, 26, 29. And we've got him, Saber Sims got him here at, and I think most people would right around 30. I don't think that he has to play 30. I think there is downside on that. There's probably upside as well, but probably limited. And I think Collier and Clarkson are pretty similar plays to Sexton. So I don't see Sexton as being a priority for me personally.
And if those San Antonio guys get ruled out, is that anything?
Yeah, I think that we have to do something probably if Sohan is out, I think we're playing Vassell. If Vassell is out, I think we're playing Sohan. De'Aaron Fox, we haven't really seen the games out of him. I'm not really.
Did he have a big game going back to Sacramento or no?
No.
Oh shoot.
Which was even surprising because I would have been. I mean, I didn't play that night because I had to go somewhere. But he hasn't put up a game. I mean, he hasn't been over 37 fantasy points since what 20. I mean, he hasn't been a fire guy basically except for one game while he's been in San Antonio. So I am going to try to not buy into this Fox projection. Now, if those guys are out, I think you kind of have to consider some of it. Mm-hmm. But if Vassell is in, I like Vassell. And either way, I like Keldon Johnson. I did bump his projection up. I'm sorry, I like what is it? Keldon Johnson. That's the one I like. I think is an interesting play. Don't love playing bench guys, but there's just so much value that I was looking like on FanDuel. It's pretty easy. Like you can. I mean, look, there's value at center too, but you can play Jokic over there, and that's a whole, guys like Jokic and Edwards that are not on the DraftKings slate. But on the DraftKings slate, like your highest projected players are Shea and Harden, and again, guard spots are loaded today. So then you get into Tatum, who's going to be really popular for totally good reason. LaMelo, Trey, Ja Morant, but these aren't it's not Giannis, Jokic, and Luka. It's not like we have that kind of stuff to spend up for. So we're spending in look, you're not going to try to leave money on the table, of course, but I'm not going to stop a lineup that has like 800 left on the table.
I'll tell you this: I was getting a bunch of lineups leaving money on the table organically when
That's
I did
what I think happens.
But like a lot, like 1,500 on the table.
Oh my God! Yeah, see, I could see it today. Like,
yeah. I don't know if it's going to be at the end of the day, but when I just ran again the bill before I got on here. That was that's what I was getting. I mean, it was like 1,700 on the table.
And for what it's worth, Dallas, even with the PJ Washington news alone, so I think Exum's going to probably have to play, right? Because they need 9 bodies. They've only got 9 guys in Dallas.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard for somebody not to get there, I just don't see how it happens where that isn't the case. What's weird to me is that they are not projecting Dinwiddie all that well, and I think that's a mistake. So I'm going to.
Well, I don't think they did anything yet.
They did.
right?
They upped the other guys. They upped like Kessler
Oh.
Edwards, and they upped Klay Thompson. They upped Max.
Yeah, see, there's Najee Marshall.
Yeah, it's sort of in between. You're right. It's probably not fully updated. And I mean,
Oh,
Caleb Martin's
Kessler Edwards got a bump.
Yeah. Just making sure I'm counting Dallas right. This is really weird. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know, man. It feels very much like it should be. Like I don't think Dallas will get the attention that Toronto does because they're a little bit of a different price tier, but that is a way to get a little bit different, is to bump up those guys, and that's what I'm going to do.
The Dallas guys?
Yeah, I just think that, I mean, look, they have 9 players. Like,
yeah.
Unless I'm missing something, somebody correct me if they called up a G Leaguer that I can't seem to find, because I only see 9 guys on their roster tonight.
Is Kyrie out?
Kyrie's out.
Okay.
Listen to their injury report. Kai Jones, Daniel Gafford, Anthony Davis, Kyrie Irving, Maxence Prosper, PJ Washington, Jaden Hardy, and Derek Lively. That's like that team is actually that's a deep playoff team.
Is AD going to play this season or no?
No, it's up in the air. I think that they're trying to figure out what Dallas is going to do. They still have a chance at being the 10 seed and playing the play-on. I think if they're in the play-in, then yeah, they're going to, or they're near it. They'll probably just go for it because of all the flack they're taking. But yeah, it's certainly a very. It feels like it's like the last week of the season kind of slate, and I was talking about this last week. It was like that then as well. Yeah.
In what way? Just people are really trying to win, you mean?
It feels to, wow, this is a very high projection on Adam Bona. No, the people are sitting everybody for the losing teams, and then and then you've got the big like rivalry games with the big teams. Like you've got Boston, not rivalry, but like the top level teams, like Boston playing OKC tonight, and the Denver just played OKC twice. But then you get everybody else is just sitting, so you get all the value. You could just play those, the studs from those games. That feels sort of like the way this is going, except we don't have the same quite level of studs tonight that we usually do.
So you think the Utah-Memphis game, you're intrigued by that a little bit. Feel like they're just going to get wrecked, but
I think so too.
Yeah.
That's my other fear. But like, I just wanted to point it out because it's a 247 total, which is the biggest total on the slate. It's the biggest total on almost any slate. So that's where I would do a little, maybe stick with some of these guys. Ja's going to be popular, but like, I think by the end of the day, Vince Williams is not going to have any ownership, where it looked like early in the day I was like 90% of him on my runs. It's just because there's Vince Williams Jr. Like, just because they're missing guys too. They're missing, Jaren Jackson, Santi Aldama. So those minutes have been filled in by,
is Greg Jackson on that team?
GG Jackson, yeah, he'd be a thinner value, but you could certainly take a shot at it. The thing is, Memphis has enough bodies to where I probably end up overlooking. So Drummond is available, but yet SaberSim just made Adam Bona, because of the Yabusele news. They made him with the 23 fantasy point projection at 3,500 on DraftKings. That's another one you could double pay down at center as well. It wouldn't play him in Plumlee. Right. There's just a lot of ways to go. I guess for what it's worth, I do like the Plumlee idea. Phoenix doesn't have like another like natural. I mean, it's not even that he's natural to guard Şengün. I guess you could say that they might just use Bol in that role.
Okay.
But I don't think so. I think that the main thing, it'll probably be Plumlee with some Iguodaro. And of course, still waiting on starting lineups. Everybody, good for Houston. Houston and Orlando have become my favorite pet teams because they always get their lineups in.
They're like baseball teams.
Yeah, so that's awesome. It makes it a lot easier. Baseball's coming up. I mean, the real season's not coming up, but the actual first game is in 4 days.
They're really giving Adam Bona this projection, aren't they? Huh?
Yeah, I'm not sure I buy it. I'd like to see the starting lineup before I decided what to do there. And for what it's worth, I don't know what's going on with this Kelly Oubre projection. Did they change it? Let me just double check before. I'm not buying it. I think Kelly Oubre should be at least around 35 as a median. Who the hell else do they expect to do anything? Like, I don't know. To me, it seems like everybody on Philly seems a little bit low, which builds into my game stacking idea a little bit. And Drummond, by the way, is in play too. Of course, at 5,400. Yeah, so I actually like that. I think I'm gonna force in that game stack as something that I want to do. Yeah, I think I really do. Stack exposure. Let's do at least, and I think you're looking at 20% 3-2s. So let's. I'm gonna try something a little different and play around a little bit with the games and the stack exposures today.
That's cool.
Yeah, I just think it makes some sense with this weird situation. And these Philly guys project well. They just don't project, quite as well as Toronto.
Let me ask you this question: who are you getting exposure to in the golf?
So I went through it earlier. I'm gonna the guys who I'm looking at right now as my highest owned are Fleetwood, Scheffler, Oberg. Nothing too shocking. Michael Kim, Sepp Straka, Morikawa, Hideki. I'm way over on Hideki. I'm way over on guys like I really like Justin Rose this week. I really like Cantor.
Who?
Laurie Cantor, who's been playing on the Live. He's the first guy to come back from Live.
Wow.
He's been playing very well over in Live too. So those were the main ones for me though. Fleetwood and Oberg are sort of, again, I did the same thing last week. It didn't work out great.
Fleetwood was my hero. He was in my winning lineup.
Oh, he was. That's right.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. He doesn't matter where he's at after day 1 and 2, guys. Don't even worry about it. I mean, he makes every cut.
He makes the cut, right?
And then he always has the best Saturday and Sunday of every player. It's like he needs to start the tournament a little sooner. He needs to start playing on Tuesday so he can be informed by Thursday.
So I'm going to tell you who my this bonus thing is going to be interesting. I'm going to tell you in a second. Let me just update my fan. Let me run my fan duels, and then I will tell you. I'm guessing that I had a bunch of Scheffler.
Yeah.
But I'm going to see in a second because I didn't do anything funny. Let me just see something. Let me see. Rebuild, build. Okay. So I'll just go to regular view exposure. In golf, my highest owned. Ooh, this is a lot.
Scheffler's like 80%, right?
I have 75% Scheffler.
Yeah, that's what happens. It's going to give you that a lot of the places.
And then I have 60% Morikawa.
60%. Wow. So that's what's happening. Everybody's double spending up because you got the 5K guys, which are really legitimate plays this week.
And then I'm and then I have nobody over 25 after that. Then I'm getting the guys you mentioned pretty much: Michael Kim, Sepp Straka, Adam Smalley.
Smalley is the one. Sabersim really loves Smalley because he's one guy I didn't ask for any exposure really on, and they just keep giving me like double digits no matter what I do.
Yeah, and then a lot of 15%ers. I'm gonna get punished more with the Rasmus Højgaard.
Yeah, I'm playing a little more Nikolai than Rasmus, but I'm playing both quite well.
And then 17%. These are all 15ers like Keegan Bradley, Justin Thomas, Doug Gim.
Yeah.
Hideki you mentioned. Yeah, I'm getting very little. Well, I'm getting only like 10% Rory. And I'm you know what? Someone's got to win special. I'm right now only getting 11% Fleetwood. I'm not very loyal considering what he did for me last week. I'm gonna have to look into that. And I will look into it. I ran a real quick one. I'll do it later tonight if I'm in the mood. I'll do maybe a late night sweat where I do it live.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
I've got the I don't know the in-laws in town. My girlfriend's parents flew in from Chile this morning, so we're going to dinner.
Are you playing? What's his name? You're playing?
He's not in.
Oh no! Oh, this one he's not allowed to play.
No.
Crap.
We don't get him. They were talking about making this a 5th major, but they never.
2 of them. You get him and Mito, right? You get the.
Yeah, I know. I would be playing both those guys.
No other Chileans that are in the PGA Tour besides those 2.
No other Chileans, but those 2. The other, there's a few. Like I did have to sprinkle just because. Remember, this is the one we almost came 1-2. Well, you ended up 2nd. I ended up 5th.
Right.
A little while back. This is a tournament I always do best at, so I had to throw in some of my stupid plays like Kazai or having like 3%, which is going to be like 100 times the field.
Wow. How do you like these apples? So here's my exposures in the NBA right now. Like if I left for dinner right now and didn't change anything, I have 87% of a guy. And then I have 69% of the guy. I should like really offer off a free something or other.
Is it Jameson Battle?
No.
Oh.
And then I have 52% of a third guy. I should really ask this. If like anybody can literally get all three, I'll give them like maybe like $500,000. I mean, there's literally no chance.
Well, no, AJ Lawson. Well, Jamal Sheed or AJ Lawson. I would imagine that'd be two of them, right?
No, Jamal Sheed, I'm only giving 37% right now.
Oh, interesting.
And
Okay.
Lawson 22.
22 on Lawson.
Right now.
Okay.
I'm getting right now with my current runs 87% Kessler Edwards.
Oh my God.
And then 69% Clay Thompson. And then for good measure, the aforementioned 52% De'Aaron Fox.
Well, there's not, hey, look, somebody's got to win, right?
And 43% Keldon Johnson, which means that I'm going to have plenty of time to swap those boys to somebody else.
Yeah.
Got a big four-man Dallas San Antonio stack to close out the day.
Why not?
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see about that.
That's wild. The Kessler Edwards one, I think, is going to be a little like he'll be be owned, but he won't be owned like this other value is going to be.
No, but I didn't really update all the projections.
I think what's happening with him is they haven't. I mean, like SaberSim's got him at 0.4% ownership.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that doesn't seem real.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have a good projection and nobody own them.
Right.
So I'm going to redo everything right now, and I bet you at the end of the day, maybe I have like zero. You know what I mean? Like that's the way it works sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's probably what's going to happen, I think. But the Dallas with these few guys, I think we gotta just go for it. I just think these whether the projections have it updated accurately or not, they have 9 guys, and they've got one of them on a minutes limit, a short minutes limit, in Caleb Martin. So
one thing I will say, by the way, is that Clay Thompson has done extremely well for me this year.
Yeah, he's actually. I mean, somebody's got to shoot the ball for them. They don't have anybody else, so I like that. I mean, he's been solid too lately.
And is Dinwiddie? You mentioned him. Is he still on the team?
Dinwiddie is, yeah. They're projecting him come off the bench, so no one's going to play him. I will remind everybody the last time this happened, he put up 48 fantasy points. That they have 9 guys, the same as they did that night. Now the difference is they do have Brandon Williams, but still, I'm having to have a hard time not getting to some Dinwiddie.
What does he do? What is Brandon Williams? What type of player is he?
He's a guard wing. They're calling him a point guard. Okay, we'll call him a point guard. They're calling him a point guard. I'll call him a point guard. He's been absolutely incredible when they give him minutes. So really hard to avoid him. I think that's where your cash games start. If you're doing that, like, or just your builds for some people, I think you start with like Lawson, one of Sheed or Roten, and I think then Brandon Williams. That's like your core value, in my opinion. That feels like the best of the value pieces as of right now, at least. And we've been having some fun in the premium channel, doing the stuff before and some late swap stuff.
Well, yeah,
the premium voice channel. We get people in there. I sort of share my screen and just we all go through our thoughts and stuff. And a lot of people have been doing really well with the straight bets from the pay dirt stuff, which has been fun.
Oh yeah, you got to tell me what we're doing with them. I saw announcements that they were part of it. And I made it happen, and I have no idea what's going on.
Somehow there was an announcement made while I was getting a little medical procedure, and Goldie was gone and you were gone when all this happened. So it was like the strangest day.
How did your procedure go, by the way?
Oh, it was good. It was all good.
Okay.
Thanks. But I think that, yeah, so that's sort of the guys for me. And then I'll talk in the premium after I get out of here when I finish my builds. But the guys I bumped up, like I'll just mention a few names. I bumped up Miles Bridges, even though he was getting to some anyway. I bumped up James Harden. James Harden on back-to-backs, because Kawhi doesn't play back-to-backs, has been incredible. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. I bumped up Trae Young. I bumped up Brandon Williams. I just don't think this is a high enough number that they have him at.
They might by the end. I mean,
maybe, but they announced Exum in, and I don't see anything changing from there. I do think Dallas gets a little bit overlooked. If you're trusting SaberSim, they might be. You're right. They're probably going to pump it up one more time, is my guess. I think you're probably right.
But I'm already getting so much of this idiot
Of the Kessler Edwards.
Yeah.
But and it's because the forward eligibility, where you're going to win this slate is going to be at forward, because everybody else is basically playing a similar version of the same. Either spend up for LaMelo and Trey, or they're spending down for the Toronto guys. That's what everyone's going to be doing. That's another reason why, by the way, why I like Kelly Oubre. He fits the forward criteria, and he's in that same game. Kelly Oubre, look out when Kelly Oubre has like 45 or 50 tonight. I'm telling you, this is not real points, obviously fantasy points, but and then like at forward, you look at the value. Jamison Battle is the one who really stands out. He's got an 8.5x projection. Chris Boucher, we all know how that can go, but there's only 9 guys that they have. It could be 50 or it could be 10. But like Dylan Brooks, like there's not that much value at forward. So I think that trying to spend your spend ups at forward, which is going to be done with Jason Tatum and Miles Bridges, but maybe, and Najee Marshall, although not currently according to SaberSim. And then maybe the other one for me though is going to be the Oubre to get a little different. And Quentin Grimes now is only
now all of a sudden now you have Boucher showing up.
Yeah. And he's got the forward eligibility. So I really feel like that's where this slate ends up being won is whoever gets the right forward spot. You know, is it John Collins? He's going to have some ownership, so maybe it's not him. Maybe a very low own. This is the problem though. So did you see the official word on? So Lauri Markkanen's playing tonight. This is literally the official word on him. Lauri Markkanen, Jazz do not want to get fined because
that's what it says.
Do not want to get fined. Lauri Markkanen is in. So not exactly reassuring.
I don't even know what that means.
It means that if you can't just keep sitting healthy players, and the league will fine you if you do it. So they're basically saying he's playing because we're not allowed to sit him anymore without getting fined.
Well, can they just not start him and play 2 minutes? I mean, like,
yeah.
If is that okay? I mean,
yeah, I think that's on the table. Sadly, that's partly the danger with him. Hornets lineup came out as expected. Yeah, it's you know who might be his night, by the way. Like a Congo on the other side. What about Mark Williams?
What team is he on?
Charlotte. He would be on the Lakers, but his health.
Oh, that's right. I was one. Okay, I remember that.
But he's back to crushing again. He's put up 49 in 3 out of his last.
Now, why did the Lakers not end up getting him?
Because he failed the physical.
Well, he seems to be physical enough for me. I mean, like
I know. Well, this guy, by the way, he's got a longer arm reach than Wemby has, which is just wild to think about. He's got a 9-foot standing reach. It's crazy. He's just a monster of a human being. So we just got an update. I'm just going to double check what I'm guessing that Dallas got bumped up. It has to be Dallas. It is Dallas. They bumped up Williams. They didn't bump up Edwards yet.
Well, I'm just rerunning everything right now, and listen, just for fun. Let me share my screen here, and you guys will see what I get. And this is actually going to be closer to who I actually play, because I don't think I'm going to be able to late swap. And by the way, you know what that means? That means that I'm not playing well tonight. I mean, that's just by definition.
Yeah.
If you put in your lineups and you go out to dinner, you're not playing well.
But the good news is tonight, at least, is not that many extra decisions that you made.
But for me, getting a good dinner is more important tonight than playing well.
Absolutely.
Listen, I'm doing the State Kings people a favor. I'm not putting this stuff up, and they should put a freaking bust of me up in that freaking office at State Kings right now. Are you freaking kidding me? What I'm doing for those people?
Oh my God, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey man, I could get one. I couldn't say this before, but I could have one near you, because just for that one day alone.
Obviously that's a whole nother thing.
We could I mean, that's some real stuff there.
Yeah.
But it's
So
pretty
let's see.
wild to run you've been on. It's been
To run as hot as I've run him, that's ridiculous.
And I said on one show that I said Sheets is out, today, and he's not going to be back for a little bit. And somebody's like, "But he just won the golf tournament." I was like, "I didn't know if he played it."
Yeah, right. That's right.
That was wild.
Yeah, hold on. So I am going to use autofill today, and it looks as though what this is going to lead me to, and I'm also doing no min uniques things right now. So I'm probably going to get like a pretty decent amount of somebody. So let's just see what that looks like. So the not terribly play. I'm like right now this is going to look good, but right now I am getting in the NBA on DraftKings 69% Sheed, 53% Edwards, 50. That's a little better. 52% Ball, 45% Marshall, 41% Boucher. Still getting a decent amount of Thompson, and the De'Aaron Fox is the interesting one. I like that it's late.
Yeah.
So the Sheed is the main one, and now we'll go into FanDuel, and we'll do that one. We're doing the same thing, and I keep threatening to do this. You know what? I gotta motivate myself to do this. I want to really start building using the TrueDFS template, so that I'm doing it exactly the same way that like the package people are doing it. I'm just so used to. You're
just on fire with it. I don't think it's the
right I don't know why I'd want to mess with anything if you want.
I wouldn't mess with it if I were you. But in all fairness, it is the same. At least the product is the same, and actually, from what we've heard, less glitches lately, which is kind of shocking.
And not only that, and again, I don't know. Listen, I'd like to think this is skill the way I play, or whatever, but it's not. But I have like no thirds, like in years.
That's crazy.
I don't get like any thirds, like ever.
That's
or even a second. I mean, like it's crazy how well I've been doing, how well I've been running. And even the FanDuel one, like I won the monster by like 25 points or something like that. You don't even know. So let's see, FanDuel. Okay, so first of all, I am just to talk this through. I am going to be using just the stock Sabres and projections. You want to know why? Because that's what's been working. Two rules. The two biggest mistakes people make in business. One is taking a bad idea and keep doing it, and the second is taking a good idea and stop doing it. So that's Sheets Business School.
That makes a lot of sense. And
I don't avoid doing those things.
It sounds simple, but most people don't follow that.
Yeah. Let's see. So, and again, we put the jumbo dunk on the top so that the autofill prioritizes that one. And then I will show you guys what that translates to as far as exposure goes in just a moment. And if I do get back in time, which I won't, it's a late swap, these will all change. Yeah, the last game's 8 o'clock, right? I mean, like it's gonna be over, right?
Yeah.
So let's see. And FanDuel, and this one, so it doesn't show the exposures there, but at least in here it'll show me what I'd be getting the most of over here, and it looks like same guys, Shahid and Marshall, but on FanDuel I'm also getting more Roden, and also on FanDuel I'm getting a lot of Desmond Bain for whatever reason. He is, what's his price over there?
I think that's reasonable.
He's expensive. I don't know. He's 8,500.
I wonder if it's your side. It's my side. My computer is wigging out completely. I'm getting the
Yeah, you're frozen a little bit. But that's okay. I'm gonna get going anyway. Good luck, guys. I will see you tomorrow, I guess. Oh wait, you know what? You won't see me tomorrow. You won't see me tomorrow. I'm out tomorrow. But I might be
okay, man.